Like, I have like a before my 11 a.m. lunch, and then like after my 11 a.m. lunch. They're like two snacky things.
Okay, thanks. There you go.
Adulting is taking care of your tummy.
Yes.
If your tummy hurts, don't hurt it. Boom.
My favorite quote is, God gave the hurtiest of tummies to the strongest of girlies.
Yes.
Boom. Alright, 1, 2, 3.
Hey guys! Welcome back to the dip. Sorry, Ray.
No, you're okay. Go for it. You got it.
Yeah,
Intro.
welcome back to the dip. Today we're talking about adulting.
Yay.
Woo! It's gonna be a fun episode, guys.
Oh yeah, also I'm Ray.
I'm Tori,
And I'm Angelica.
and today we're gonna be talking about adulting.
Yeah.
So first thing is, what is adulting, and what do you guys think is adulting? Before I give out the definition.
I literally don't even know, honestly, because technically we're adults.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, are we, though?
Yeah, are we?
I don't know. That's kind of my thing, because I don't know, actually,
Yeah.
how to, like, specific.
It's very broad.
It's
Yeah.
very
It's a broad term.
Definitely. I would say like little things that like getting gas by myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's adulting for me. At
Duh.
least.
Duh.
Getting my
That's what I'm saying.
license. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So the like official definition is the practice of behaving in a way characteristic of a responsible adult, especially the accomplishment of mundane but necessary tasks.
Ooh.
Isn't that crazy?
Thank you, Google.com.
Thank you, Google. And I actually researched a little bit into this article, and there was this quote, and it says, adult became adulting as a generation entered that period feeling somewhat unprepared. Wanting to express that maturity means not only reaching a certain point in your life, but also tending to I don't know what that word is.
Spell it. Spell it for the people.
CONCOMITANC.
Okay.
Tasks.
Concomitant.
Concomitant tasks. That's the word. And if it's not,
Let's
Sue
Google
me.
that. Google
Yeah.
concomitant.
okay.
We do our research here on the dip.
Yeah.
Brought to you by OSBS.
Yeah.
Episode
Yep.
11, Adulting Then versus Now.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Naturally accompanying or associated.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
So, like, but also attending the associated tasks.
So like natural everyday tasks.
Yeah, like natural.
Just doing regular
okay.
things in your
Yeah.
in everyday life.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
crazy. No.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I had questions based on that definition, but I'm using my phone to record this podcast, so I don't have it looking. But I think one of the first questions to ask so that we know what adulting is what is an adult? Like, what does it mean to be an adult?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like, normally when people ask that, they're like, oh, they have a house, they have kids, they, like, make a mortgage payment on, I don't know, you know, some, like, things like that.
Like a corporate job or something.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
9 to 5, every,
I would say, like, well, technically, like, legally, 18, you're an adult.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy because you're, like, for me, you're still a kid.
Yeah.
I still feel like a kid, and I'm 19 now.
Exactly.
So that's crazy, and I think it comes with a lot of pressure. Especially legally, like when it comes to like legal and illegal things.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I agree with you. I would say if I'm thinking about an adult, I'm thinking about getting your first house or even like an apartment and getting like a stable job, having a car and all that jazz.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is based on like independence.
Definitely.
You know, you're not like leaning on other adults to take care of you anymore.
Yes.
So, because I feel like, yeah, 18 you're still a child, but I mean, if the situation arises, you can be an 18-year-old adult.
Right.
You know, so Yeah, I feel like it's more just like a frame of mind kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like living style. Rather than like just a definitive number or something.
Mm-hmm. So my questions were kind of based off of like adulting now versus like in the past, like how our parents were. But my first question is, do you feel like you were educated on the basic way of living, like financially?
No. Actually,
Exactly.
no, I don't.
I would say no too.
And this like ties in with like education things, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. But I remember we touched on like billing and stuff, and like taxes and stuff like that in my 7th grade class.
Yeah, like nobody needs to know that.
and it was only for a week.
Yep.
and never brought up again.
And then they were like, "Oh, you can take this money management class in high school, but it's not required."
Girl,
That's
like,
crazy.
That's something that should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it needs to be required,
Yeah.
100%, because like I feel like a lot of like people growing up nowadays, they are more scared of like, oh my God, when I get a job, I'm actually gonna get like a tax form, and I'm gonna have to fill it out. What do I do with
That's
that?
exactly my fear.
And especially if you get a job like when you're in college and it's like your first job, you won't have mom and dad to help you. You're gonna be like, "Mom, help! What's going
Yeah,
on?"
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way because like this year is the last year my mom can like claim me on her taxes, so that way I don't have to like do it or
Right.
anything. But after that, I'm like, what am I supposed to? What am I supposed to do, girl?
Yeah.
And we have career management here, and I just took that last semester. And Bradley kind of goes over like the different tax forms and all that stuff, but I still feel confused because I feel like it's just like so much.
It is a lot, and it definitely needs to be spread out throughout your whole entire life, because it's a lot of pressure, especially to be thrown on you when like you're in college or something and be like, oh my gosh, I should have known this, but I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, I will say, and maybe we don't have to leave this in, but cooking, y'all need to be teaching kids how to cook.
Yeah.
I don't know how to cook much. I can cook like a lasagna soup. I can cook enchiladas, and I can cook ramen. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
No, for me, adulting is like, because we're recording this on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
Woohoo, Super Bowl. Adulting is realizing, like, I gotta make my own nachos for tonight, bro. I gotta cook my own meat and then put them all together. The nachos aren't just gonna, like, magically appear. I have to do that now. That sucks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Tonight is Super Bowl Sunday. If you're watching this, comment down below who you think is going to win, or who
Yeah.
did win, because this is probably coming out
Yeah.
later.
Let's all make a prediction right now, and future us will see if it's real or not.
Okay.
My prediction is Christian McCaffrey is going to get 2 rushing touchdowns, because I don't think they're going to stop that guy. And then Travis Kelce is going to catch a touchdown. Boom. I got 2 for you.
Period. That's solid. Football. Football. I'm gonna go with the basic answer. I feel like because of their season, I feel like the Chiefs are gonna do pretty well. I'm not gonna say, oh, they're gonna win, because you never know what's gonna happen. But they'll definitely get there, I think.
My prediction is that Beyonce will make a surprise appearance at the halftime.
Wait,
And
who's performing?
it's Usher, but
Usher.
they don't know who the
Usher?
special guest artists are. It has to be Justin Bieber as one of
It
them.
has to be Justin Bieber, for sure.
I believe Beyonce will be there. That makes sense. I want
Another
Lil Jon to
Beyonce
be there so
performance.
bad.
I want
need
Lil
Lil
Jon.
Jon to be there so
That
bad.
would be so
Okay. Little
good.
down.
That would be so good.
Because, like, how many songs have they done
A
together?
lot. I feel
Well,
like.
at least, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And that's like a big
That's
one.
his, like,
Yeah.
number 1, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be a really good halftime show. This go around.
What if
I
they
mean,
have Ludacris and Lil Jon there for, like, a one-off thing? That'd be sick.
God. That'd
And
be
Taylor
crazy.
Swift sitting in the seats, just
Taylor
watching
Swift
it all
is
happen, be like, that should have been me.
Did y'all did y'all see the thing where like everybody was like, is Taylor Swift gonna make it in time for the Super Bowl to see Travis Kelce? And then they're like tracking her flights and everything, and they're like doing the calculating. They're like, so it should be about a 16-hour flight for her to make it to wherever the Super Bowl is.
Yes. I saw that
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, guys, calm down. It's okay.
They don't know how to adult.
They don't know how to.
Boom, roll the title card. No, I'm just kidding.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. I have another question. If we want to keep going.
That was
Yes.
great. Yeah.
Do you think the knowledge of mental health comes into play between both generations when talking about adulting?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I think, at least now, since we're more aware about mental health issues, people are trying to assist more with adulting. Like, they're trying to make easier ways to do it.
Yes.
Like, I feel like one of them is, like, you can now do taxes on, like, an app or something. Like, y'all seen TurboTax or whatever
Yeah.
it is?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how it works. I may be fully lying about it or something because I just don't know what it is. But, like, you know, people are trying to make easier ways for adulting. And that may not be fully for mental health, but I think it helps with that. So I feel like it's a lot easier for someone with those kind of issues to make it rather than like generations past.
Right. Yeah, whenever I think of that question, I think of like the past generation, kind of like if you were ever to go up to them and be like, I am stressed so much about trying to adult right now.
Right.
And I don't know what to do, whatever. They'd be like, oh, well, I did it whenever I was younger, so you should be able to do it too. You know, I
Yeah.
kind of think of things like that in terms of like them being like, it's not as hard if I was able to do it, then you can too. Like, just
Yeah.
not taking into account all the change that has been happening, I guess.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know. Yeah.
No, I get it. Sometimes I'll be like, well, I'm anxious for like an interview or something with my mom. And she'll be like, oh, you're just nervous. And I'm like, no, mom. No, mom. Hey, mom. It's not the same. It's not the same. So I think it's definitely like, again, like we talked about this in the generational divide episode, but it's like when I guess my mom was feeling anxious when she was younger, she probably didn't know that it was anxiety, like doing those things, because she'll tell me like, oh yeah, I had the same experience, like I know exactly how you feel, but I was just like, it's nervousness. I was like, no, mom, that's anxiety. But they didn't know about it.
Yeah,
they didn't know about it.
that's
so,
true. Yeah, that's true.
Like Ray was saying, I think there's a lot more resources now to encourage those with who do struggle with mental health
Right.
issues to get on their feet and to get out there, and I think that's really great.
Yeah.
I love that about our generation. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Also, something that like came up was that saying that today's young adults are getting married and forming families much later in life compared to like the past.
yeah,
And I think all of the things like mental health and like especially inflation, like stuff like that,
Yeah.
come into a lot of plays into that. And also, I feel like, I don't know, me personally, like I'm like, what is the rush? There is no rush. For
right,
me,
of
you know?
course.
Because we're like so young still.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do y'all guys think about that?
It's crazy to think that we know people that like are not only married, but like we know some people who are like about to have children and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
And like a year or two ago, we were all going to classes together.
Exactly.
Like I had a class
Exactly.
with them a year back, and now they're like pregnant, about to like move out, go buy a house or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
And I mean, sometimes you can think about people and like, oh, they'll be a great parent, but then sometimes you think about it a little bit deeper and you're like,
I don't know if
I'm
they're
so
ready
sorry.
for that. Exactly.
Yeah,
I know.
like I'm sure they'll be fine, but
Yeah, no, we should also normalize not having kids to keep the marriage stable or just to have them. You may think you're ready, but hey, think about it financially, think about it socially, all of that stuff. Take those like into account when having a child, because having a child is a huge responsibility, and you can't just like throw it away. I mean, well, we're seeing a lot of it with like millennials and whatnot with Gen Alpha, and how teachers are quitting their jobs because these kids are like not being disciplined in the way that we were. And I'm not saying gentle parenting is a bad thing at all. I actually personally really love gentle parenting, but sometimes you got to get your kids into play.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I was personally spanked as a kid. And I'm the person I am today because I was spanked as a kid.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. And I like, again, love gentle parenting, but we see it a lot with Gen Alpha, and it's really scary. And it also goes into the fact that these kids aren't, well, this is education, so these kids aren't being taught how to read like we were. And that's scary. So, like, also taking into precaution, okay, well, if the school is not doing, you know, their job with the curriculum and stuff like that, how can I set my child up for success in the future? So also taking that into account when having a kid.
Right.
And I think like us, like having that knowledge though is like really good for our future generation. So that we can see what they're doing wrong and like make changes so that way it's better, which I
of course. And there is no pressure to have a kid.
Exactly.
And the older generation will always be like, oh, so like kids and stuff like that. No, you don't have to have kids if you don't want to. You don't have to have them.
Yeah. I will speak because my brother, who is 18.
Air it out. Let him
brother,
know.
who is 18, is married. Yeah.
Wait, let me take a sip of water. That's crazy.
Of course, he's like doing fine, whatever. He's also in the military. So, you know, every time I say military, guys, he's in the military, everybody's like, okay. But like, I don't know what his rush was or like what kind of like led him towards doing that, because before he like left for the military, he was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna like marry her, like I'm just gonna like wait it out, we'll see if we can even like, because he's gonna be gone for like a while he's doing like all his training and stuff, and so we'll see if like it goes well, whatever. What happened to that? I don't know what happened to that. So I just think, I guess it just varies between the type of person that,
of course, and how ready, especially in a relationship, you are for that, because marriage is a very big commitment, and like you said, it's so crazy how we think we know people, and you have to make smart decisions, guys.
I got a story now.
So make smart decisions and don't marry just to get married. It's the same thing with like kids. Don't marry just to get married. Know that this is a person that you want around for the rest of your life, because, and well, of course, there's always divorce, but you know,
you gotta like do money.
Money together, insurance. You have to come together. Like, you will be bonded to this person for a while. Like, you know, especially if you're together for a long time, and then you're like, oh man, this doesn't work out. Oh crap, we're on the same insurance together. Like, you know, and all that jazz. That's your story.
Yeah, story time. So, I had a cousin, or I still have a cousin. He didn't die. He's still around. He's fine. But he didn't get married, but he and his at the time girlfriend had to drop out of high school because she got pregnant. Like, they had a child, and that came as such a shock because adulting. He was not ready. He was not ready to become an adult, but teenage pregnancy, it scared him straight into getting it. And like, you know, initially it was really bad because the kid had to be handed around to a couple of like the parents and the grandparents to get like help with that. But I mean, now he's part of like a fire department. I think their son is like 4. The two of them aren't together anymore, I don't think, but they're still like co-parenting the child. Like she still comes to like holiday events like Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff, and still takes care because she's part of the family in that way. So it was crazy because he was not even close to being ready to adulting, but something like that scared him straight into it, which he got lucky that he got scared straight into it and didn't flop on his face or anything. So, but now that I guess I'm talking, I do have a question. Since we're talking about like parents and stuff like that, do you think y'all's parents did a good job at adulting? Because at least going into it for me, I think my parents did a wonderful job. I think they're great parents, but you know, obviously they're not perfect. Like, for example, my dad is retiring after this year. He's been a teacher for like...
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, he's been a teacher for like 33, 34 years, something like that.
Damn.
And he's retiring after this year. But he was talking through his financial stuff, and he was like borderline not being able to retire. Like, he was right on the border of not being able to. He'll have to be like frugal throughout the rest of his life, which he's fine with. But like, he was this close. And I was like, really? He's one of the most responsible people with money I know. He's one of the most like adult people that I know. And he was this close to not being able to retire after like 33 years of teaching.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I was like, he's a great dad. He's done a great job adulting. But even then, he still has this, you know. I would think that like being a good adult, like being able to adult really well, means that you can successfully retire comfortably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So.
When did your parents have you?
Kind of late. I forget. They got married in 2001. My dad was born in 1964. So
He was like...
in his 40s? Yeah, because he's like 60-something right now.
Okay.
So he was in his 40s. I think my mom was in her like mid to late 30s.
Okay.
So they had us pretty late, but
Yeah.
yeah, and now he's retiring, but he was barely unable to, so yeah. So what do y'all think? How are y'all's parents doing?
My parents, they're doing pretty good. My parents are both retired, but my mom went back to work. Actually, they both went back to work because of inflation.
Yay.
Love you, but don't love you, inflation. I don't love you, inflation. It's like $4 for a bag of chips now. What? Anyways. Yeah, so they both went back to work, and my mom's working at it's like an at-home job, and she's a technical analyst. So, and my dad drives cars.
Okay.
Or something like that. I don't know what he does, but they both are still working just because we just moved into a new house, like in a new area, so we're like still trying to get the stuff rolling for that and like pay it off and all that jazz, and of course my school, so they have to tag team it together. I think they did a really good job. I think my parents also had me late. My mom was in her 30s when she had me, and my brother a little bit her earlier 30s, because my sister, I think she had her when she was like 28. My sister had epilepsy, so she just waited a huge gap, so that we, probably wouldn't have to struggle with that. But yeah, I think we ended up doing great. I think there was a lot of times in life where, I didn't want to be an adult, but I was like kind of chucked into it, like certain things. And there was a lot of things that I definitely waited for, like my driver's license. It's okay to wait to get your driver's license, people. There is no shame in that. But it is very freeing when you get it. That was my biggest adulting moment, I think, with my parents. And they were like, jeez. Finally. But yeah, I say
Okay. I think my parents also did really well. My mom had me when she was really young. She was 21. Yeah, so she was hella early. And I think, she wasn't, educated a lot on, how to work stuff financially and stuff. Because even still now, she has a lot, she's trying to fix her credit, she's trying to do all that because she's still really young. But I think because she had me and she was so young and she didn't know what she was going to do or how to handle adulting, she made sure that I knew a lot about going, like, adulting and, like, working stuff. So she continues to, like, always, like, educate me on a bunch of, like, other things. So that's why I feel like I'm so, not, like, so prepared, but, like, I know a lot more than most, I guess. So I think her having me really young just kind of helped the whole adulting process for her. A learning experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's still working. My stepdad owns his own plumbing company. So yeah, it's very small businessy, but you know, and she's like the receptionist or secretary, whatever. So yeah, it's still a process going through. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that was actually another one of my questions, the driver's license thing, because this article that I read was saying that our generation, like, there's a lot of fewer people with their driver's license currently, which to me, I don't know. I guess it is so fine to like wait to get your driver's license, but that was something that I was like, I need this right now. I need to have my driver's license. And so like the moment that I turned like however old you are to get your permit, how old is that, like 15, 16?
I think it's 16, and then like 6 months after you can get it.
Okay, then yeah, my mom was like, you got to do this right now, like you're gonna get it. So for me, it wasn't a choice,
Right.
So that's why I think when people are waiting, I'm like, your parents gave you that option.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I'm also the youngest.
Okay.
Yeah, so that plays a lot into it. And my brother and I are very close in age. He's 21 and I'm 19. And so we had a very long period of time where we were going to school at the same time. And so he would drive me everywhere, and I would have the privilege of riding with him.
Right.
And then my friends were getting their licenses, so I had the privilege of riding with them. And then when I got to college, I was so sick of walking everywhere. I don't know what it was. And I was like, I want to actually be able to go to Walmart because United is, a controversial opinion, a little overpriced.
It is.
And yeah. And so I was like, I need to go to Walmart because Walmart.
Please.
We love
Walmart.
So yeah, that's when I was like, okay, I need to do it for myself. I actually wanted to wait because like when I turned 16, I could have gotten my permit, but something happened like with automobiles that I was like, ooh, maybe not for a little.
Right.
But then when I turned 18, it's so much easier to get your license too. You have 6 hours of driver's ed.
Ooh.
Then you take like a 2-hour course online to be like just like re-solidify no drinking and driving, no being on your phone while driving, and all that stuff. You get those certificates. You go into the DMV. Boom.
Wait,
That's
really?
literally how I got my
easy?
yeah. It's literally it was crazy.
Okay, that's why these bitches are waiting.
Wait
it's so
if you need
easy.
to, because really it is so easy. That 6-hour course I'm probably so grateful for, because how many hours of driver's ed do you think you did?
But I did it all online, but it was a shit ton. Like you had to like do all these things, and you had to like take tests and like do all this stuff. I worked on that for months, girl.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
I will say the ACEable probably took me like a week to finish.
See, and that's what I did.
And then it took me like a day to finish the other thing. And then I was ready to get my license. And it was actually so crazy because I was looking at like, the MVEs to see where I could get my license. There was only one available before I came back here.
Whoa.
And it was on the 11th in San Marcos.
Oh.
And my brother lives in San Marcos, and I've never driven in San Marcos ever. And I don't know if you've been, but they're crazy.
They're crazy.
They're crazy there.
I've heard, actually.
They're crazy there. So I went in, and I was like, oh, so I'm gonna fail my test. Like I can parallel park. I know I can parallel park,
Yes,
but anywhere else, I'm scared because I don't know my surroundings. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So the lady was mean, but hey, she gave me that and license. So,
What?
but yeah, so it's much easier now. So I think that's why a lot of people are waiting,
Yeah, okay.
and that way they don't have to go through so much. Because I
Yeah.
feel like it is such a prolonged process, and I feel like people now just want to be like, okay, I just want to get it over with and get it. You know.
Well, it also makes sense at 18 too, because 18 is
Yeah.
you become an adult or whatever, and so that kind of like makes sense
Of
too.
course.
That is so crazy. I had no idea about
Yeah,
that.
because I also did it online. I think I had to do like 36 credit hours of
Yeah,
driving.
yeah.
That is
Plus, like all the online tests that we had to do.
my
And my dad was the one teaching me.
My mom was the one teaching me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
that
oh.
is so crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, and I
Good
was
for
like,
you.
and my friends all live in Pflugerville, so it's like about a 45-minute drive from my house, like my new house. So I was like, I want to be able to see him during my break, because like that was like the biggest part. Because my mom would end up like driving me places, and I'd be like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry, Mom. And she'd be like, I'd ask her to go do something, and she'd be like, and I'd be like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I'd always be like, I'm the youngest. I can get away with a lot. So I'd be like, well, like, it's like the last week that I'm going to be here. Like, I haven't seen them in forever. And I probably won't see them until spring break. And that's a long time. And so she's like, let's go. And now she doesn't have to worry about that.
Oh my God, that's crazy. If I asked my mom that, she'd be like, no, they can come pick you up.
Yeah. And
That's
also,
so funny.
the real friends to see who drives to your house.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
True.
But, and also, like, I know my friend with the driver's license, she had meant to get it during our senior year and, like, do all the stuff, but we were so busy with, like, one-act stuff, this Haya thing, which is like the Heller Awards for Young Artists in Austin. And then she ended up winning to go to the Jimmy Awards. So she ended up going to the Jimmy Awards during the summer. And then she had a summer stock in July that she did. So she literally had no time to get her driver's license. So she was
That's
like,
valid.
but she's 18, so she's able to do all that stuff and really easy.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you got something? Go ahead.
I do. Okay. Okay. What are some tasks that you guys What are some tasks that you guys feel you've adulted in a way? And you can list them off or you can like go into detail.
I feel like getting a job, like your first job, is a big step towards adulting.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, getting a job doesn't mean you're an adult, but, like,
Right.
it's a real step forward.
Right. When did you all get your first job, or do you have a first job?
I was 16 when I got my first one. I was a cashier at an Office Depot.
Ooh, Office Depot!
And I worked with a bunch of middle-aged people.
I love
It'd
Office
always be like
Depot.
that.
Yeah, that was all there was, but I was just a cashier for them. It was not hard at all, but, I mean, you know, I had to learn how to work the system. I actually learned it better than some of the managers there. I remember having this, there was one time, this lady came in, and she bought, like, probably $200 worth of stuff.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, your total is 200 something, whatever. And she was like, okay. And she pulls out a checkbook and writes a check for it and wanted us to, like, put the check through. And so I called up one of my managers because I hadn't been taught how to deal with a check. I'd been
Right.
taught, like, cash and card, but not the check yet. So I was like, hey, can I get someone up here to, like, help me with this check? And the manager comes up, like, the manager, because I called that out because he was listening in on that. And he was like, sorry, what's up? And I was like, this lady was trying to pay through a check. And he was like, oh, I have no idea how to do that. You have to pay through card. And she was like, no, I only have a check. And I went, are you serious right now, boss? Andy, look, you don't know how to deal with this? So I said, look, go back there, I'll learn. Because there was like a thing to like scan it, and I had seen it that whole time. So I was like, let me just figure out how to work it.
Okay.
And I eventually got it through. But I was like, man, you're the manager of this place and you don't even know. I'm 16 years old and I figured this out faster than you.
Dang.
Yeah.
Andy.
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 God. Andy at Office Depot.
My first job was actually a really easy job. I was a pack technician for my theater, so we would like host events that would happen either like in like within like Hendrickson or like outside organizations would come and like rent. Like HEB filmed a Christmas commercial there. So I worked that. We got paid $12.50 an hour.
Okay.
So I was just like at the light board like toot toot toot, and then like at the soundboard like
Okay.
yeah, so that was my first job. And then this also ties in. It's so hard, the working like area, it's harder now to get a job in places. So
Yeah.
okay.
My first job was the classic sacker at United. I was
Okay.
15. Hey, yeah. I definitely, yeah, but I think getting a job is hella adulting for sure. I've had so many jobs, I swear, and like, it's just always the same to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think one task though that is very adulting to me though is as soon as anything goes wrong with my car and I have to like fix that or like deal with that, that is super adult to me because I'm like, this is like a big like machine that I have to like fix. You know? Yeah. Car problems are the worst though.
Right, they are.
What are some car problems you had?
My tires always like go out of air, get flat. I was running over some nails one time. One time, like, we had gone to Lubbock late at night to go see a show, and the show started at 12, and it was like an hour long, and so we were coming back, and it's like 2:30 in the morning, and we're halfway past, like, we're a little bit out of Plainview, so we're like 45 or like an hour-ish in, and one of my tires like
Just popped?
No. And I changed my tire on the side of the road at like 3 a.m. and I was
That's
like,
awesome.
this is I hate this. What is this? Yeah, so
It's
that was a super
adulting.
adult moment for me.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So any car problems, man, where is a real adult girl? Because yeah, I'm trying to think of some more tasks, but
For me, I have some like really mundane ones, and then I have like some serious ones. I'll go with the serious one first, so that we can be silly at the end.
Yeah.
But there was this. I was applying for this job here at the school, and I was trying to like get into the website that allows you to fill out Section 1 of the I-9. I hope that this person is not watching. I doubt it, but if you're watching,
listening,
hey,
cover your ears.
hey,
Cover your ears,
I see you,
Patricia.
girl. But I was having trouble because they gave you like a username and a password. I couldn't get in, so I emailed them, and it was due in like 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, I'm being proactive. I sent it in. I didn't get an answer that whole week. It's a week that I have to turn it in. It's Wednesday. And I'm like, hey, still can't get into my I-9. I emailed you last week. What's going on, bestie? Turns out I sent it to the wrong email address, so I never saw it. And so this person emails me back and is like, hey, that's fine, but like I don't even handle like the I-9 stuff, so you're gonna have to contact HR. Okay. That evening I had a roomers rehearsal. I had a dental appointment, and the dental appointment ended up taking up a lot of time in the afternoon, more than I thought. So I didn't get the chance to call HR on that Thursday. Thursday in Acting 2. I'm sitting on my computer. I open up my email because Bradley sent out like a little link in the email. And I get an email from this person, and it's like, hello, still haven't gotten an answer back from HR. Or like HR contacted me and said that you haven't emailed them or contacted them at all. I just need to know that you can still handle the responsibilities of this job. And if you can't, we have like, there are many things that this job requires you to get in on a weekly basis. And if you can't do that, then maybe you shouldn't have this job. Maybe it's not right for you right now. Nasty email.
that is so nasty.
I know.
That's so nasty.
Yeah, like, and by the way, I'm still getting hired. I'm still getting hired.
We just need to tear you down a bit.
Yes. Oh. And so I'm like, I see this email, And I'm like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry in class. I'm not going to cry in class. I'm not going to cry in class. And afterwards, I turned to Logan, and I'm like, hey, bestie, let's go to Dutch Bros, because I need a coffee. And on the way there, my whole, like, demeanor changed, because I was like, this lady, this person, demean my character, because that's just not the student kind of student I am. I'm very hardworking. Yes, I do lag behind sometimes, but this was confusion. So I wrote back and I was like, hey, queen, I thought you didn't respond to me until I found out it was the wrong email address. I'm super sorry, and I'm super embarrassed that this is the first impression that I'm giving off, but this is not me at all, and I will get it done as soon as possible. I had an appointment, and I just didn't have the time yesterday, but I will get it done today. Don't get an answer back. So I contact HR and everything, and that's fine, but the reason, like, it's due that Friday. Not just that, the I-9, my timesheets. I don't know anything about the timesheets. Like, the communication is really off. It's so confusing because they send out so many emails and I get lost in them. Like, anyway. So, I like couldn't go to sleep that entire night because I had a horrible day, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this person. Sorry, now y'all know it's a lady. I can't believe this lady like totally sent me this because like in the first part of the email it was super like, oh, like if that's okay, like that you haven't contacted HR, just like make sure that you do that, but if you don't, it shows like this and this and this to me, blah 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 blah. Like it was masked nice, and then the second half of the email was awful, and I was thinking about it for a long time. I couldn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
So adulting is waking up at is writing an email at 1:09 a.m. in the morning saying, hello, by the time you see this, it will be later in the morning. I've decided to decline the job. Respectfully. I just don't feel like I'm putting my best foot forward with you guys, and I want to make sure that if I do get the chance to get this job again, which I will not be applying anymore, even though they needed me, that I will be more prepared than I am right now, and I feel like you guys will probably need somebody who is more prepared than I right now, and I just feel like I cannot give that to you right now, and maybe it's just the wrong time. Hope to work with you in the future. Send. Apparently that lady just had a bad day, so that's adulting. Yeah.
That literally goes back to the question about the mental health, because they literally will just say whatever. Like, that is so rude.
And I by the way, like, usually when I have a bad day, I will always be like, okay, because I get really hard on myself, especially in jazz. I love you, Crystal, but I'm on the verge of tears every single time in that class.
Jazz is hard.
Jazz is hard. But, like, I also haven't danced in, like, 3 years, like, technique-wise, like that. So it's just it's a little harder for me, and I'm more hard on myself because I'm like, I should just be able to do it, but that's okay. That's learning, guys. But usually I'll be like, okay, this is fine. Like, I'm going to get through it. It's going to be okay. I get a text from the school saying that I owe $792, and I already paid my dues. So I was like, what? And I start crying again. I call the business office, and I'm like, what do I have to do? What do you want from me? I didn't say that, but I was like, why do I owe this money? And then she was like, oh, it looks like your voice classes. And I was like, what do you mean voice classes? I only have one. And she goes, well, it says that you have 2. So I had to get both of those removed. Or I had to get one of them removed so that I could pay for one. But by the time I had gone to pay for... this is so crazy that I'm explaining this. By the time I had gone to pay for just that one class, it still showed the $790-something. So we had to pay that. And I had to go to the business office so that we can get reimbursed. Yeah, that's adulting. Serious-wise. But mundane-wise, going to the calf by myself, because that's terrifying.
Leading back into the mundane.
Yay. Sorry, that was crazy. But,
Still recording.
going to the calf by yourself is very humbling, and it's scary. Mm-hmm. It's a crazy world out there.
Yeah.
No, but like mundane task. Adulting is going to McDonald's to like buy yourself food because you don't have food anywhere else. Like there's a distinct difference between like you have a job at 16 and you're living with your parents and there's food in the fridge, but you're like, nah, I want to go eat McDonald's. So
Yeah.
you go and like drive
Yeah.
and go buy yourself a Big Mac or something. Versus you're out of college, there's no food in your fridge, and you're like, well, I have to eat something today.
Yeah.
So you drive out and
That's
go
it.
get a Big Mac. So.
That's it. I'm like, ooh, I have $4 in my account. What can I get with that?
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes. Adulting is doing everything you can to avoid going to the cafeteria.
Duh.
I feel like another big mundane thing, and it may not be mundane, but it's something you don't really think about that often, is like advocating for yourself, like standing up for yourself in your own email. But also, like you said, you had to go to a dentist appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adulting is going to the dentist by yourself for the
Yes,
first
that's
time.
my God.
That's true. I remember I had to go to the doctor to get like
That's
you know that
terrifying.
shot that you
Yeah.
have to get in order to come to college or whatever.
Meningitis?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my
I
God.
had to go get that shot, but my mom, I had turned 18 like. I just turned 18 like a couple of days before, and she made me go by myself, and I literally cried in the car in the parking lot before I went in because I was like, I don't want to be here by myself. What am I supposed to tell them? Blah blah blah.
God, the meningitis shot is brutal, by the way. I
Yeah.
had a huge lump on my
I had a
thing.
bruise.
Yeah, I had a huge lump. Maybe they put it in wrong both times, but like
Both times.
but I had like a huge like lump. I can show you pictures. Like it was nasty. It was gross. Like it was awful. But no, that I'm dreading the day that I have to go to the doctor and like get a checkup and stuff like that. That's great. Doctors are mean. They say to go to like nurses and stuff like that. Like some kind of nurse. I have to ask my sister because she's.
Yeah. Plus, when like the doctors ask you like all these questions about yourself, and you have to be the one to answer them.
Yeah.
Because your parents don't know
You
them
can't just
anymore.
look to your mom to
Yeah.
answer.
Be like, Mom, wait, what?
Because I remember, like, when COVID hit and they started, like, dishing out the vaccine, there was, like, they had, like, a big vaccine stand in, like, the parking lot of, like, our football field. Because we had, like, a giant parking lot for it. So they, like, set up a thing, and basically you would, like, be in your car, you would, like, kind of snake through, set up an appointment, stuff like that, and then go get your shot at the end and then drive away.
Okay.
So I had to go by myself to do that. And like, you would schedule an appointment, and then like once you get there, the first thing you do, they hand you like this clipboard with like a big questionnaire on it, kind of like filling out the form like when you go to the doctors. And there were a ton of questions on there that I was like, I don't know my blood type. Like I didn't know it off the top of my head. So like I looked at my driver's license because I thought it was there. I didn't. So I texted my mom. I was like, hey, do you know where I can find my blood type? And they were like, I don't know. Your doctor knows that probably. So I lied. And
Yep.
I turned out okay. I'm fine. But like I fully lied because I was like, I don't know
What am I supposed to do?
I don't even know my blood type.
Yeah. I still don't to this day. I forgot.
I got my blood drawn here at WT because I wanted to figure out A positive.
Okay, A positive.
Yeah, but I will never be giving blood ever again.
Yeah.
I can't. Needles make me faint. Yeah, so usually I'll get shots.
I faint
Yeah.
too.
I'll clock
I
out.
was also the same one. Like when I got the vaccine, literally I was in the car. They were like, all right, we're about to do it. And like they would prep the needle. I literally went. And I put my head like on my little dashboard and just didn't look while it happened. Because
Yeah.
that's the only way I can accept it. Like I'm fine with the feeling, but I can't watch it go in.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part that like freaks me out.
I have to lay on my side for a little. That way for 15 minutes, they say, so just in case it happens. But there was this one time when I got my second COVID vaccine. I went to CVS, got it, and I was like, okay, breathing. Okay, I feel fine. Like, this is fine. So I go to, like, the chair and sit down while my mom gets it. I'm, like, on my phone. I'm, like, tee-hee, la-la, texting people. And next thing I know, I'm in a dreamland. And I'm like, wait, how'd I get here?
That's crazy.
And when I woke up, I was on the ground. My feet were lifted up onto a chair. There were 5 people towering over me, including my mom. And I was like, what? And they were like, you just fainted. Are you okay? And I was like, yeah. Like, I was
Tell
just,
me.
like, it really is. But yeah, adulting is knowing yourself and knowing your boundaries too. Period.
Exactly, period. Because I do be fainting sometimes too.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I need to calm down and sit down right now, guys, before something bad happens.
And adulting is eating 3 meals a day.
Ooh.
I'm working on it still.
Working on
but
it, guys.
it's really good for you guys. Breakfast really
Yeah.
is a very important meal of the day.
But breakfast upset my tummy.
Where do you get breakfast?
I don't get breakfast.
Well, that's
Have
Because
two
it upsets.
lunches.
What?
Have 2 lunches.
Yeah, I have like a before my 11 a.m. Lunch, and
Okay,
then
yeah.
like after my 11 a.m.
Yeah.
lunch. They're like 2 snacky things.
Okay,
Perfect.
so there you go.
Adulting is taking care of your tummy.
Yes.
If your tummy
Period.
hurts, don't hurt it. Boom.
My favorite
Period.
quote is, God gave the hurtiest of tummies to the strongest of girlies.
Yes.
Boom.
Boom.
Period.
Adulting.
Adulting.
Okay, I guess I have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel pressured by society to have all your life plans figured out already?
Yeah. I feel like that comes a lot with adulting. Because adulting is planning for the future. Like having backup plans and being able to like support yourself in case like the absolute worst happens.
Yeah.
I don't really have that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even to this day, when people are like, "Oh, what are you gonna do after college?" I'm like, I don't know.
Someone
girl."
asked me that yesterday. I'm like, I graduate in like a year and a half.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And adulting is knowing, like, you have so much time to figure it out, too.
Exactly.
And even though there is all this pressure of, like, oh, what are you going to do? How's it going to support you? How are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? Know that it will all come in time and everything will play out the way it's going to play out. So, one, just trust yourself, trust your skill set, and just trust that the universe is going to make things right, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, even though it is scary, you can do it.
Yeah.
Trust yourself.
Yeah.
Girl.
You can.
Yeah.
Period.
But I will say that society is always like, this and this not. What are you going to do with this and this not? Like, when I told my dad I wanted to major in musical theater, he was like, what are you going to do with that? And I said,
Always,
hey,
always.
Dad, I'm going to be on Broadway, bestie. That's what I'm going to do. Duh. Yeah, so that's a goal, hopefully. I would knock on the table, but I'm not going to, so
Thank you.
you're welcome.
There's wood somewhere.
But, no, definitely a lot of pressure.
For sure. That was a good way of putting it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially from older generations
Yeah.
because they, well, of course, the job, like, area of life was so much different back then because of, like, the limited amount of jobs and how a lot of people were forced to, like, do things that they, like, didn't want to do for the rest of their lives. So they'd have to, like, sacrifice what they love to be able to, like, support themselves and stuff like that. Nowadays, especially, like, for actors and stuff, after the SAG-AFTRA strike, we're now able to make more money and support ourselves. And, you know, maybe you'll have to work another job or but it will be a lot more income than we usually got before. And that's encouraging, especially. So
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, okay. How do you think adulting has changed over the course of time? One thing I like, what I just said, kind of the job. What do you call it? The job area?
Industry.
The job industry. Perfect, right. Period. The job industry. It's expanded over the course of time, and now, like, minimum wage has been raised, too. So, that's good. And a lot of people are able to do more things that they're enjoying in life and all of that jazz. Like, I love doing makeup. I could get a job at Sephora Sephora also provides health insurance if you work full time and like a bunch of other things. Really great benefits. Yeah, and you get paid a lot. You get paid a lot. I think it's like when I applied for Sephora, I think it was like $15 an hour, and then plus like raises and stuff like that. So really great.
I guess something that I technically kind of had was like, so like technically in the year 2015 to get a house it was $350,450, and then this year it's $395,100. So that's like almost half, or like half more that you have to like pay, which is crazy. But and I agree with the whole the minimum wage thing being raised and stuff, which is really good. But with that also people tend to like raise prices of things more because of that, and I'm like, how is this fixing it at all?
Yeah,
like, you know,
100%.
They're not linear.
Yeah,
It makes it hard.
I think there's also an article I read about how Gen Z and a lot of Gen Z like couples who are wanting to get houses or like families and stuff like that are not able to keep their houses because of how high the prices are, which is insane. And houses plus the tax rate of that area, which is insane. Like you're literally fighting. Well, we all are fighting to live, basically.
yeah.
And just like be comfortable in life. It's a lot harder now to be comfortable than it was before, of course. But that's also because of like stock market stuff and whatnot.
Adulting is feeling the effects of taxes, like on your own personal thing. Because now you have to pay for your own things.
Yeah, that's true.
Adulting is getting your paycheck and seeing how much Uncle Sam freaking took. And that's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
That
And it's
is
so
true.
frustrating. I'm sorry I hit the table. It's
No,
so
you're okay.
frustrating.
Yes.
It's like, I worked so hard. And it could have been like a $500, and it's like
Three.
what?
Literally, especially if you get like checks and then they show you all the stuff.
How
that they-
much?
And I'm like,
What?
Uncle Sam takes a lot. They cost to live. Adulting is also realizing like how soon like you have to think about like health insurance and all of that stuff, because healthcare is not free in America, which is insane.
you literally have to pay to live, like actually
Literally pay to
stay
live,
alive.
which is crazy, because like even like to give birth, it's tens of thousands of dollars to give birth, and if you have the right insurance, it can be like $1,000 or so. What? And like they'll charge you if they have to switch your doctor, if your doctor's not in and you're giving birth, they'll charge you for that.
Yeah, and then think about that, especially with people that are our age who don't
Yeah.
know how all the financials like
Yeah.
stuff work. That is like
It's
you're
really
in debt
scary.
forever
Yeah,
already.
exactly. And then also you have like depending on like scholarships and stuff. I'm not going to say for everybody, but you are in some debt after college.
Yeah.
Because it also costs to go to school if you want to pursue what you want, which is really insane and crazy, but oh well.
Have you all seen this website? I think it's called like usnationaldebt.com or something. But it's like a live counter of like the national debt.
I'm going to look it
And
up.
like all the different like parts. Adulting is looking at that website and seeing all the negative effects rather than being like, wow, that's a really big number that just keeps growing. Because that's what I saw at first. There was also like, when I went to New York for the summer, there was I went to watch Sweeney. And when we were at like the stage door, like waiting to see the people. No, it wasn't for Sweeney. It was for and Juliet. We were on this like little, it wasn't like an alley, but it was like in between two streets, like at the side of the building that they performed in. And on one of the walls was like a national debt counter. And I, like, while we were waiting for people, I was just looking at it and being like, Jesus Christ, that's bonkers.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Adulting is stressing out about it, but also
Knowing it's gonna be fine.
knowing it's
Yeah.
going to be okay. We'll figure it out. And if we can't, you can always move.
True.
One-way tickets do exist.
Adulting is finding a way to land on your feet.
Right.
Yes.
When something
Good way to put it.
happens.
Yes. I love that.
I
Yeah.
do too. Eat.
Was there any other questions
That's
that
all
we
that
had?
I got.
I think that's all I got.
I guess any closing remarks?
Um,
What's new with OSBS? I guess we could do updates.
Oh, well, OSBS is going to be doing concessions for the improv show on Valentine's Day.
Yay!
So, if, I'm pretty sure when does this come out? Monday? Not this Monday, next Monday?
Friday.
Friday.
On Friday.
On Friday. It will have already happened, but happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yep.
Whoever wins the Super Bowl, guys. And let's cross our fingers that the She Loves Me show is canceled because it
Yeah.
is snowing outside, which is
snowing.
crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
I've
In
never
February.
seen snow like this. Yeah, like where it's like coming down and it never sticks. So,
Oh my god, that's fun for you.
yeah, I'm having the time
Guys,
of
I
my
got
life.
sleds. I'm ready to bust them out.
All right.
That is so
You'll see me
exciting.
on my Snapchat later. Be glad.
Yeah. Well,
Well, it was a fun episode, very short episode.
I think it was a bit longer than last episode, though, so
fine.
I think we're fine.
Yeah.
Well, because, like, the length of last episode was just because there was a lot of lollygagging and goofing off.
I'm goofing off.
Like, I think there was a segment where I had to cut, like, 5 minutes worth of stuff. And then, like, the intro took 6 minutes for them to actually get it right. So I had to cut out 11 minutes off, like, 2 things. So,
Crazy, yeah.
yeah. There's probably less edits in this episode because,
Yeah.
man, Britt is fun to record and stuff, but Britt keeps being like, cue this, do that. And I'm like, no,
No,
I can't do
Britt.
this anymore.
Cue screen flip.
Screen flip?
Period. Yeah, screen flip like.
Oh, like it does.
And then a
360.
boom.
Like an explosion or like a...
No, like a, you know.
No, I don't.
You know,
And
like
I'm the
the-
editor, so you should tell me.
Okay, guys.
It's
Show is still going.
Okay, it's like.
No.
We said that the dressing rooms would be open at 12:40.
No.
Who said that?
Lee.
Ah,
God.
cancel it. Cancel it.
Let's
It's
get a
crazy.
photo call Zoo.
Yeah. Adulting is complaining about going to work. If you're loving your job, you're not an adult. You're just a
Yeah.
kid having fun at your job.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, it was a very fun episode. I hope
Yep.
you guys, we hope you guys enjoyed this little segment of adulting, and I hope that you learned a little bit more
Please
about
subscribe.
it.
Share this with all your friends. Like the video.
Like the video.
More podcasts coming in the near future.
Period.
So, bye.
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 Yeah, bye everyone.